It's me or you.
Hey, hey, everybody. It is Cousins for Life. I am your co host, Lady V, and we have a really great topic for you tonight. But before we get started, I want to introduce my cousins, the other co hosts. We got Kirby Jersey in the house. How you
Hey,
doing today,
hey,
girl? What's going on?
it's going on. It's going on.
All right. And the beautiful queen, my friend, my cousin for life, Lee. What's going on, girl?
Well, it's just me. Listen, it's dry outside, okay? It's dry out. My sinuses, my allergies. I'm just, hey, I'm here by the grace of God.
All right. Well, we glad you're here. So, we are going to be talking to you about generations tonight. Does generations really matter? We're all, well, I'm going to say I'm in a different generation because I am a baby boomer.
Yeah, get
And
it
I think
straight.
that my generation happens to be the last of the best. But then came y'all. And so
Excuse
I
me.
think y'all, I think y'all are the Gen Z or X. What are y'all?
Well, I am on the very end. See, they changed the year. It used to be 65 was up to baby boomers, but they cut it off, and now I'm in the Gen X. So I am actually the best of the best creme brulee.
You better know
Okay.
it.
But you want to be a baby boomer because
No,
we.
Listen, I don't know about that. I just
no, because then
know
that will put
that
me in the category of almost my mother. No, I don't want to be a baby boomer.
This is true. I am with my parents. I don't know. I didn't think about that, Daphne.
but that is something to think about on how large the spectrum is for the baby boomers. Oh my God, you hear this? Sorry.
That's okay.
How large it is for the baby boomers, but I don't think it's that large. This band is that big for the X or the Z's, for the
Right.
millennium,
Millenniums.
Yeah.
millennials.
So I want to make sure everybody understands the generations. So before we go into it, you have first the traditionalist. So that would
Mhm.
kind of be our parents, the 1946 and earlier. So
Mhm.
whoever's
That's my mother,
1946 and earlier, that would be
my
our parents.
parents.
Then you have the boomers. The boomers is 1946 to 1964. Then you have Gen X, and that's 1965 to 1976. So that's a really big
But
um,
that's broad, very
that's
broad.
broad. So they say that you have the early Gen X and you have the later Gen X. Because then they start flowing into the millenniums, and that's 77 to 95. Same thing. You have the younger ones and then you have the older ones. Then you have the Gen Z. That's some special kids. You got them as 1996
Special
to
kids.
the
Okay.
present. And mm, I don't know. I think something went wrong in the water or something. So even with them, you have the younger generation, and then you have the younger generation with the Gen Z. Because I would like to think that
Older and younger.
our children don't identify with the kids today. So, I think in every generation you have the broad age difference, but there is a difference even within our generation. So here we go. We got, do generations mean anything as far as, is there really a difference? Does generations really matter?
Generation
Uh,
definitely,
yeah.
it definitely matters. It matters. I mean, in all aspects. and the importance of, you know, how important education was, how important your work ethic is, of everything, because different generation, every generation as you come down, they have a different outlook on it. They look at it differently. These Z's, they only about the, oh goodness, sorry. The Gen Z's are only about the dollar. They about the money, whereas the boomers and the X's were about the benefits and the credentials, you know, education. These Z's, they don't care if they educated as long as they can make that money.
Mm, mm,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, I think I agree with the perspective of what you're saying, Lee, in some aspects. I think also the baby boomers and before were more involved with the family aspect of having a family, like
Yeah.
producing offsprings, you know. And this generation right now, and it's okay because that's why there it is a difference. It does matter about the generation to generation, but right now, like Lee said, they're about themselves, making sure that they have what they need for them, and they're not afraid to move and change. Whereas my mother, they stayed put at their jobs. Most of them had the retirement, the
Traditional.
pensions, and move on, and the traditional way of life with, you know, raising children and so forth, and having that family. Right now, they like, hey, me, I gotta get what I gotta get for me, and it's okay. But there is a difference, and there's going to be a difference every generation. It's going to be a difference.
I think that with the our generation, we were more trained to be stable, consistent. We had standards. A lot of it too had to do with what we saw. Who was our examples? Um, our examples came from our parents, our church community, our teachers. All of those people played the difference in our lives. Those were the primary influencers in our lives. Whereas now the influencers are social media, entertainment, um, peers. There's no parental church community. It's none of that. So I think that when you talk about the big age difference, we saw it. You know, it's like everything with us was about family. Family ate together, they did things together. Now these kids, these young people, they don't even know what that looks like, because as time has come, you know, has passed on, we took away a lot of values and a lot of standards that we were used to, but now they don't find them to be that important. I also think that they're more laid back than we were. We were always busy doing a lot of things. We felt like we had to be busy, 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 busy. They don't feel a need. They tell me all the time, Miss Yvonne, I'm preserving my mental. I saw my parents out there working hard, but I'm preserving my mental. Well, I kind of like that. I kind of have gravitated to some of their mindset. I don't feel a need to be as busy, because they seem like they pretty chill. They pretty relaxed. What do y'all
They
think?
may be pretty relaxed, but a lot of times looking at them, do they really have it all together? They may be relaxed, but like Dav said, they're so, I want to say, by the hem of their pants. They just, you know, okay, this not working. Let me try this. Let me give it a chance. I don't know what happened to work. Give it a chance to, you know, to follow through. Let's see what happens. You know, they, when I say they, I'm speaking about the millennials, and the after the millennials is the Z, right? Millennials and Z, they have a totally different look as opposed to the traditional. The traditional, as you said, was go to school, get your education, get married, have children, have a family, you know, eat dinner, you know, homework, go to work. They don't do it like that. They
So
didn't
do
even
you
see the
think
need
that
to
we
be
can
married. They
do
didn't
you
see the
think
need
that
to
we
be
can
married.
learn some things from them though?
Oh, we can learn a lot. A
Okay.
lot
And
of
they can
things
learn,
we
and
can
they can
learn.
also learn from us. They can also learn, still
Exactly.
Absolutely.
learn from us. And so my concern with the change, my only concern is that making sure we don't lose focus on some traditions, because it is important to come together. It is important to keep some of those things that you had for your ancestors that you know traditionally go down the line, and you keep some of that history, some of that tradition. And I'm afraid that if we keep changing so much, because we changed. Think about, we were the beginning of our generation, I think, Vaughn, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it was yours, with the major cell phones, cell
Mhm.
phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so this electronics and all this Wi-Fi and all of this web came through that line. So we're more adaptable to that, right? But once we get to these generations that keep going down, I'm afraid that at some point we're going to be like robots. We're not even going to think about the traditional aspect that still should stay alive. And that's my only concern about that, keeping the family dynamics. Yeah.
Well, I think that that's up to the people in the family. What the heck?
You're in the you're in the black, girl. You're in the black.
A lot of candle.
I don't know.
You get what you doing over there, Suge?
You know he
Come
get up
back,
at 3 o'clock in the
Suge is
morning.
her husband, Steve. I asked Steve what you doing over there, turning off the lights. Come on now, we on
Turn
show.
off the lights.
You know he get up
But
at three
anyway, yeah,
o'clock in the
Vaughn. So
morning.
my concern, while Alicia trying to get my concern is just that I just want to make sure that and you, Alicia was getting ready to say that depends on us, but sometimes there's such a difference, and there's such a growth in technology that we lose some stuff.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think that the thing is, technology is good. And I think that we have done well over the years to learn a lot of technology. Now, are we as savvy as the kids? I don't want to be as savvy as the kids. I really don't. I don't really care to know all of the ins and outs of, when I take a picture, I just want to take a picture. I could care less about all of the effects and all that. I just want to take a picture.
I like that.
I don't really care about all of the new and improved. It's been so long. Like, even I look at my phone. I want my phone to do two things. I want it to be able to call my friends and family. I want it to be able to text, three. And I want to be able to take a picture. I could care less about all of like every time they come up with updates, I am the last to know. Only because they make me do it, because I don't care about that. And that's where I know how old I am. It's been a long time where I sat back and inquired about what's the latest in technology. I probably couldn't even tell you what the latest is in technology. I just learned how to do Snapchat, and I still don't know how to do it. People send me a message. I'm like, I don't know how that works. But I think that you're so right, Daphne, when you talk about the values, how we grew up. Like, I was watching The Honeymooners last week, and I swear it was like I had never watched it. I
know.
Dying. I was dying. I was sitting there like it was the very first time. Then yesterday, they decided to do our staff appreciation for managers, and they treated us to a movie. Guess what we went to see?
Right.
We went to see Back to the Future.
I remember. The first one was always great.
The thing about it was, none of the people probably even saw that movie. But when you look at how we grew up, and we saw people sitting down at the dinner table and having conversation, you had to know how to communicate. So that's where the differences come in. We know how to use our words. We know how to write. We write in complete sentences. That's probably why it takes us so long to text, because and use the period and the commas.
The
kids,
if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. That's
right.
Given.
But the kids it took me for the longest to know what LOL was. Please don't abbreviate with me, because I don't know what those abbreviations are. I don't. And that is where we know what I guess the difference is. But am I really dumb because I don't know the abbreviations? So I think that's where the differences come in. It's so much that we can learn from them, but it's so much that I agree, Daph, that they can learn from us. But what are stereotypes in generations? What do you think some of the stereotypes are?
That they're nonchalant, don't really not necessarily care, but almost like they're kind of like whatever.
They're very carefree. They're very
Like the
carefree.
70s. You know how they used to say the 70s was more of a carefree era? Whatever.
For them,
Okay.
I think if it doesn't work, okay, next.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas that's not working. Let me figure out why. Let me figure
It's
out
not
how
working.
to.
Yeah.
What we do is try to figure out how, why, what's next. They're like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, next. They
Mhm.
move on.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. I
yeah.
think that and I think that they think we're slow. I think that they think that we move too slow, like, or we're too. And I'm going to change that. We are too in detail. Like when we have meetings, we were taught to make an outline, an agenda. I work with all 21 to 30-year-olds, and they look at me and they're like, okay, can you make this quick? We come from the world where you have icebreakers, videos, you know. So the a lot of times I think that they think that we do
Just
too
way
much.
too much.
We do too much. Like they're quick, I call them the microwave generations. They don't put love into the things that we put love into. Like when we cook, we put love into them. They just throw joker in the air fryer, the microwave, boom. That's it. It's done.
Mhm. That's true.
We still cut up the vegetables. Now, of course, we can go to the store and buy things already. I don't know about y'all, but I love cutting vegetables up. I love standing there. I made a pot of soup the other day and I cut up with love
Great.
every single vegetable. I'm just listening to my music and chopping the carrots. And you're like, Mom, you can buy this already done. No, it's not the same. It's not the same love. Because then you throw it in the pot and you gotta stir it up and you gotta take your time with this. These people, they just throw it in.
But I will
It,
tell you what I do appreciate about this generation. What I do appreciate about the millennials and the Z's is that they know how to get things done quickly. Now, you're saying how it takes us sometimes a long time. It does, but they know all the shortcuts and
yeah,
they come up with the same thing. They come up with the same thing. It just takes me longer. So I appreciate, there oftentimes I'll say to my daughters, I'll be like, Coco, listen, she'd be like, Mom, dip, 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 dip," and it's done. I, Not you, Nation. I'll talk to some. Oh, all you got to do is, I'll be like, all I got, what? I mean, they are quick. They get it done. So I do appreciate that about them. I also appreciate about them is that, and it may just be a personal thing where they don't hold on to stuff. They don't let stuff drag them down. They
yeah.
very easily, move on to the next thing because they got something else to do. It's another way to do it. Come on, let's get it done. So I do appreciate that about them. You know, so
But
it's
can I
not all
ask you
bad.
something? They do things quick, but do they enjoy the moment?
I think they enjoy their moment.
I think,
Whatever
yeah.
that moment is what they enjoy their moment the way they enjoy their moment. And just like we enjoy our moment, the way we enjoy our moment. Sometimes I think we don't enjoy our moment as much as they do.
Hmm.
Because I know a couple of uh she has a 32-year-old, very good friend of mine. She'll tell me in a minute, listen, I love you. I've been with you for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 weeks, 3 days. My energy has just deplenished. I now have to refill my tank
Yeah, they
with
tell us
people.
that we too much work.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? And it's just like, and I love you, but I'm exhausted. Like I cannot do no more. And I don't know how you keep going. And so I think they know how to put a halt to it. We don't know how to sometimes. I
It's
do.
true. They say that we too much work. We
Yeah,
just too much
we are.
work because we have a beginning, middle, and end. They have
Hmm.
a beginning and I'm finished.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
when I'm
they
finished, I'm
do
just
what
finished and I'm
they
moving
don't
on.
overthink it. They don't
Hmm.
overthink it. They don't,
Hmm.
it is what it is.
Hmm.
And I appreciate that about them because it's I think what our problem is in our generations, as women, we take on more than we should,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we overthink. Whereas
Hmm.
these younger people, it ain't mine. I don't want it.
Right. It's not my problem. I'm not going to take it on,
And
but
they
we'll take
don't.
on in a minute. We'll take on in a
Yeah.
minute, Lee. And we have to remind ourselves, wait. We gotta preserve our energy because we need to live. And so they're gonna live long because they preserve their energy to where it needs to go.
Well, I think
And,
that
and mhm,
I think that the thing is we became parents, moms at
Hi,
a young
Beverly.
age. So a lot of times when we took on responsibility very young. Now I can say for me, as I became an empty nester and I don't have anybody but my husband, I've taken on their mindset. I could care less. I love that mindset. I love the fact that I finally learned how to wake up when I want to. I don't have to, like it used to be where I always had a schedule, but now I don't care. I get up,
Regimen.
and
Regimen.
when I wake up, I don't have anything to do. I don't have to rush to the store. If I don't want to go to the store, who am I going to the store for? What am I cooking for? What am I rushing for? Why am I busy? Like if
excuse
I
me.
want to walk around in my PJs all
Bless
day,
you.
I can. So I kind of had to go back to how I was before I had children. And I love it. But now I notice that my children call me very early. They call me like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then when I don't answer, they like, Mom, why you not up? Because I don't have to be. I don't
Mhm.
have anybody to take care of. I don't have anything to do. If I want to wake up, I can. And if I don't, I don't. So I think that they don't really have a lot of responsibilities that we had when we were there, when they were our age. We don't have that. They don't have that responsibility.
Beverly said, "Good evening, ladies. Very interesting topic." Miss Beverly, if you have any comments or any questions, please feel free to tell me.
Listen, y'all, don't forget to love us and share us. Love us and share us, please, guys.
So as far as friendship, dating, workplace, um how do the generations how are they different in relationships? Like, let's talk about, for instance, dating. How
Mhm.
is it where the dating is different from, or relationships are different from our generation to the younger generations?
Well, disclaimer, we're just giving our opinions based on who we know. I would say relationship wise that I've noticed as and I think some of that, like Lee had think mentioned, depending upon sort of the person in the upbringing a little bit. Because I have four sons. One is totally focused on went to school for 4 years, got a degree, went back to school for 4 years. He's in it now, 2 more years left. And he totally let go all kind of committed relationships with
Because he's
young
focused.
ladies until he's finished his focus. And he told a specific young lady, he really likes her and I like her too, that he doesn't want to neglect her. And he knows he has a lot of responsibility and he stays focused. But then I got a flip side. I have a son that's married, and his first thing was, love and marriage, not baby in the baby carriage though. And so, but so I think it kind of depends. I think most of them are grounded enough in themselves to know that they don't have to have someone right then. If they find someone, kudos. And when they do find someone, I believe they are committed. I believe they're committed. So I think that's kind of how they flow it, depending upon upbringing.
So you don't think that they have a different view on how they view relationships. Because I know
Mhm.
a lot of young people that I know, they're not as serious about relationships as we were when we were growing
Mhm.
up.
I
Well,
haven't
that's
noticed that
because
in my background.
our
Hmm.
examples were different. Um, Baby boomers, Gen X, our examples were different. So we did different. Um, then you have the millennials and the Z's. The example was a little different. So they do different. Some of them had the same examples because of who raised them, okay, as the X's, but they chose to do different. You had a whole era where it was getting married between 18 and 16. Then they moved, get married in their 20s. I was told at 25 that I was
It's old.
old
Yeah.
maid.
Hmm.
I got married at 24. And I was told I was going to be an
Let me
old
hurry up.
maid. Okay. But now, then there's a whole generation where, they weren't getting married till they were 35 and 40.
Hmm.
Then it went back
So
to getting married younger.
yeah, I just think it's who is upbringing, and it's a matter of they are okay with themselves. They
Yeah.
are so
The
okay with
maturity
themselves.
level.
I think that what I embrace with them though is I see better relationships because
Hmm.
we grew up, we got married, we started our families. A lot of what I see in the young people now is they embrace friendships, whether it be guys and girls or you have more of the girl time and the guy time, and
Hmm.
they're not in such a rush
Oh,
to.
friends with benefits. That's what you're talking about?
No, I'm not talking about
No,
friends with benefits. I'm
that's
talking
it's like
about
what I was saying.
they're
They okay to
they're
be
they're
by themselves.
they're I
Okay,
don't
with
I'm not
having
saying that they're
friends.
even by themselves, but they are okay with each other. Like their relationship is kind of different. It's not a you are dot 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 dot. It's more of they
So
more like
labeling.
this, right? Did you my home girl? Like they married or they girlfriend boyfriend, but they chill with each other. Like we were more serious. We were more structured. It's less structure with them. It's like, you want to go get some McDonald's? Okay. You want to go get some Chipotle? Okay. We felt when we were growing up, we had to cook, we had to clean, we had so many things that we did where I don't see that with them. Their relationships are more carefree.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think every relationship has some kind of structure in it. And I think it
Hmm.
depends on the individual. I think it
Hmm.
depends on those individuals because um, back in the day, my relationship was more structured because I had children in the household. But when there's no children in the household,
Doesn't
it's
have to be.
different. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be structured because
Hmm.
nothing has to be, on schedule. I can do what I want when I get ready to. I can eat out if I
Right.
want,
But
or I
that's
can
what I'm
cook.
saying. But I think that for them, they have more of a carefree. Even I work with children, I work with young people. Their relationship is totally different than ours was. I don't see the pressures like I saw when we were coming up. There are a lot more boys and girls are more chill with each other, where it's not you're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend. There, I see more of a chill. You just my homegirl, you just my homeboy, and that's it. I don't see a lot of the pressures of needing to be boyfriend and girlfriend like
Needed to
it
have a
was.
romantic relationships is
Right.
basically
I
what
don't
you're
But
see
saying.
that.
but that's what basically maybe I didn't
Yeah.
articulate it correctly, but that's kind of what I was basically saying. They're okay with
With
not
yeah.
having that intimate connection. They're okay with whether they have somebody or they don't, and it's okay either way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With us, it wasn't okay all the time. We felt like we said when we hit that 25 mark. I know I was feeling that itch too. It was like, oh Lord, damn, I'm about to turn 25. You had to do something. right? But then now it's like they're 25 and they're okay with
Honey, they
not being
35 and
with
okay.
somebody, right? 35, 30, with not having that intimate connection with somebody necessarily that's a committed, because it's not to say they don't have an intimate commitment, you know what I mean? But I'm saying they don't have to have that commitment. If they're solo, they're okay. You know, some people are not okay. They'll
Mm.
say, you know
They're
what I
not
mean? They want
secure.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want that. And so I think this new generation is like, okay, they come. They're getting carefree.
And
So
then
do
I
you think that the younger generations are more in tune with their mental health than the older
Mm,
gen?
absolutely.
mm, yeah,
Absolutely. Because they will shut it down.
down.
My
Yeah.
children range from age 37 down to 24. And they do 25. They don't care. Nope, that's it. I'm done.
Yep.
They shut it down. I'm over it. They're not overthinking it. You know, I said I was done with that. I'll be like, I was wondering what mom, really, I don't want, I'm done.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yep.
all right, then I got to figure out, both ends of the conversation. Because it's like, well, I didn't get it, and they know how to cut it off, let it go. They finished. They're not overthinkers.
Yep.
Mm.
They think
They're
things
also,
through and they
mhm.
let it go.
And
Okay.
I think a smart part of them, Lee is 100% correct. They don't overthink it. And that's probably, I know that's my problem sometimes. I'm trying to not overthink and I'm overthinking, not overthinking. But another thing that I noticed, impatient a little bit sometimes with other generations. Getting back to that generation, they're impatient a little bit. Like Lee said something profound when she said, Coco, like, give me it, mom, give me. They are not going to sit there and be like on this all night. So,
They
and you
not
need to
gonna
get
be
a
like,
hold of this.
listen,
Yeah,
A to B,
learn it.
and then you
Yep.
move. Just give me, I'll do it.
And then at some point, I know, like my friend, like I said, my friend is stage, she don't care. She'll tell me a minute, Daphne, I showed you 3 times.
Yeah.
Come on, come on, come on. I can't do it for you all the time. I ain't gonna be here all the time.
Come
And
on,
she's
catch it.
sweet. She's funny people. She does like she don't give me no slack now. I don't care how old you are. Let's get it.
So I want to stay with the relationship part for a minute. And this is strictly for the ladies. Do you think then in relationship, because there was a movie that came out years ago, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. And there was a 20-year gap. So in that, do we think that, because I read the other day, I saw it on Facebook, there was an 80-year-old woman who was married to a 27-year-old.
I
And I
saw a
was like,
show like that. There was a show that there were men and women that were with 50 years apart, 40 to 50 years apart. I saw a show like that, and it was astounding to me.
so what do y'all think
I
about that?
was like,
Because now we're talking about not a half a generation, we're talking about
several,
like a decade.
Well,
several.
mm, they say love has no numbers and no
But
age,
I
right?
just say to each his own.
But yeah, they say they have no numbers and no age. Yeah, and it right, at least 100% correct. To each his own. But as for me, speak for me. I would not have any interest in anyone 20 years younger than me.
Okay.
So I have a friend, okay, and she and her husband, she never will tell you, but I do know that they are almost 20 years apart. And they say that she likes to say he's an old soul. He's not. you know, he's just, some people are just mature, you know, but there's a big difference in the things still. They are
Mhm,
married and they get along great, but
mhm.
every so often there's
A
just a
slight
wait
disconnect.
a minute.
Mhm.
There's a wait a minute, hold on, because there's an adjustment that has to be made with her, and there's adjustment that has to be made with him
Mhm,
because there's such a large age gap.
mhm.
the time period when they were raised,
Mhm.
how and who they were raised by, totally different.
Mhm.
So I
That's
want to
like
go back.
that's like seeing my son.
I want to. So I want to go back to Daphne. So you said you couldn't. Can you
I wouldn't.
elaborate
I
why?
wouldn't. I wouldn't. Um, Besides the things Alicia said, I've never phantom even thinking about it. I think they're not like someone like Devontae. He's 30. Devontae about to be 30. He's 29. There's absolutely no way I can feel okay mentally, first of all, with seeing someone my son's age. That's first. Mentally, I could not do that. The other thing was we wouldn't have as much as in common. Like we've been brought up two different eras, two different times, two different ways. And that just, I think it's like Elise said, sometimes it's going to be a clash every now and then. It's going to be a clash. The other thing is, I personally, as an educator, thinking of that's crazy, like something my student. No, that's just not ethical for me. So that's my reasons. I just would not. Um,
So
I've never
then
been
let me.
attracted to somebody in 20 years younger than me. I have not yet.
So then, could you be friends with someone that's 20 years younger than you?
I have
Not male,
somebody's 25
just
years
friend.
younger than me, but I'm not dating him. That's my friend's a
No,
sibling.
I'm talking about just friendship.
A
Female.
male, a male.
No, it could be a
Oh,
female. Are
yes,
you?
yes. I am friends with somebody that's 32. Yep,
But you don't look at her as being.
my daughter, friend, sister,
You look at her as being your daughter.
daughter, friend, sister, and we always
Oh,
say that. Yeah, always say that. And so it's some things that I wouldn't share with her that I share with y'all. There's some things that she just I would not because I would protect her. That's that daughter part. You know what I'm saying? From certain things. And then there's also certain things that she shouldn't necessarily, be exposed to possibly. You know what I mean? It's not time for her. If she asks me any questions, oh yes, I'm going to give her my honest opinion, just like she does from me. And actually, getting back to those 32-year-olds, Vaughn, those generations of the what's that? What's that 32-year-old? Gen what? Z's? Are those Z's? Millions around in that ballpark? They will be honest with you. And that's what I rely on her for me, especially in the dating scene. They're very knowledgeable of the game and what's out here. And she definitely keeps me up on that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I don't know. I have younger friends. I've always had younger friends, and I've always embraced the younger generation. Probably because when I was younger, I always had older friends.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't look at my younger friends though as my daughter. I look at my younger friends as my friend. I don't really um even when I was in the dating scene, I didn't have a problem dating someone that was younger than me. I
Well,
married
you said
someone.
20 years. You didn't say younger. I'll date somebody younger, not 20 years.
I don't know because if he's 20 years younger, I know people who have a major age difference and they have a really beautiful relationship because sometimes it keeps the older person young,
AG.
you know. And
Mhm.
so I think that for me, I don't know. I'm married, so I ain't trying to leave
Yeah.
Derek. I like
Yeah.
Derek. But I'm saying that when I was dating, I don't know. I didn't think quite like that. So I want to talk about
Can I
real
jump in one
quick.
time before you move on? Before you move, can I
Yeah.
say one more thing? Thank you. The other thing is you got to understand, I met her when she was only like 24.
Okay.
And it was in the school system. So we were educators together. So we worked on the same team. So we established a relationship there first. And they were both from Jersey, we found out. So that's another connection we had. And her family has a lot of the dynamics like my family. So we kind of connected that way. So when you that young, you automatically think daughter to me. That's what I keyed in first. But then we started building our relationship and we became friends. And just like Alicia probably can, and so can you with your daughters. You establish a friendship, but yet daughter. You know what I mean? So it became like that. Yeah. So I
Okay.
think it's possible for that, but not a man for me.
Hmm,
No.
interesting.
Janie said hello, by the way. And she also has Beverly said something. So I'm trying to pull them up now, guys. It's kind of pull up Janie's first. All right. No, I can't see Lee.
Oh, my first
So it
difference
says,
is it okay.
go ahead, Lee.
It's different when it's a guy that's much younger who may possibly be attracted to you. I'd feel awkward.
Okay.
Bam. Good point. That's a good point.
Well, it's
Good point.
always different for men and for women. It's always different for men and for women. You know, men notoriously have been known to date much younger women and it be no big deal. Oh, you got that young girl. You got that young
Young
chick.
chick, I think
But when
tenderoni.
a woman does it, you know, it's like,
Your cougar.
sugar mama, you know,
Cougar.
that type of thing. So, you know, yeah, it's always been different for men than women. Beverly says it is hard. Wait a minute, sorry. I don't know. It's
It is.
hard. It can work in a movie, but in real life, it's a struggle. Yeah. I know
Yeah,
some
you're
people
right.
who have 10-year differences and they seem to have worked, you know, they've worked it out and it's, you know, just smooth like butter. But I think anything more than that, it might be a little difficult. I think over 12, 15 years, I think it might be a little difficult.
I think that it depends on
I can be
too,
friends with a few.
how you live your life. You know, if you're an outgoing person and you do think like I do a lot of things that young people like to do. So I personally love hanging with younger people because I
They
learn
keep
a
you
lot.
young.
They keep me young, but I also learn a lot. I learn a lot from the young people because I believe that they are our future. So sometimes we can kind of be stuck in our ways, and I kind of go back, piggyback off of what Daphne said. It is good to gain advice from them because times have changed. So
Mhm.
that's
Hmm.
probably why I do enjoy having more younger friends than I do women my age. I think that sometimes I struggle with that because women my age are they don't like to do the things that I like to do. So I find myself drawing more towards the younger girls because they're fun. Women my age to me are not a lot of fun because they don't like do nothing. So,
It's
you
true.
know,
It's a lot of times they feel like, you know, oh, they're past that stage. You know, oh, I really shouldn't be doing that. Why shouldn't you? You
right.
know, like I said, to each his own. I think you get in where you fit in, you do what you do, and you know, live your life to the fullest. You know, your generation was your generation, but it's okay to explore other generations because we could all learn. You
Mhm.
know, the older generation from the younger, and the younger, you know, they do learn from us. You know, they don't always like to say it, but they pick up, you know, a few pieces along the way and they put them in their pocket, and you know, I think they, you know, hold on to them and use them as they can.
So the last thing I want to bring out is the workforce. You
I got a
know,
whole lot of messages.
so we just had a major,
You know
major
what?
election.
I got a whole lot on it. A lot of people are
And
saying something. I want to pull them up, John. You want me to pull them up,
Okay,
or
pull
do you
them
want me
up.
to
Let's
wait?
see what they're saying.
well, I want to ask this question. So we
Okay, it
had the
still
election.
relates to what you're talking about, though. Still on the
Okay,
same topic.
let me ask my question and then we can
Okay.
go.
Okay.
So with the election, we had a 60-year-old and a 78-year-old run for presidency. And the question that was asked to me was a lot of it um more about the difference in generation or
Or gender.
gender? So I'll pause there. You can ask the question and then y'all can answer.
Janie Jones says, I can be friends with a female and commonly being being female.
Okay. I agree.
Lies. What you talking about, Mr. Reese?
That's true.
Women get to pass men. Wait a minute. Women get a pass. Men are looked as taking advantage of her age.
Mm,
Oh,
that's true.
that's another
I
way. They
agree.
do look at it
I
that
agree.
way. Yeah, I've heard
True.
that as well. He also says, I unknowingly dated a 23-year-old. He didn't know. That's because she didn't tell you and you didn't ask her. And you didn't ask because you knew she was young. You was afraid of what she might say. And you
Or
was
her mama
glad
might
she
say.
didn't say 18.
Okay, so I want to, when you look at it that way, true, it's like, so if you vibing with a 23-year-old, what's wrong with it? If that person is, you feel good about that person, what's wrong with it?
I don't think, it was a big deal. He says he thought she was 30. And,
You got to
which
get
is
the
cool because
credentials, dude. You know that.
some people have old souls, and some people are more mature than, they let on to be, all right, than their
Yeah.
age, and
Yeah.
sometimes they just play a good role, So you thought she was 30, but you didn't ask because you knew
Right.
she
You better
wasn't.
pull out that license.
It's because he knew she wasn't.
Yeah. Deep down inside, something told me.
So anybody want to address my question?
That's why we were saying, hold on.
Wait on,
So
right. But I do have something else. One more thing, Vaughn. I will say the truth. The thing is, I agree with you with that. The women, that part about women, sometimes you are looked upon differently than men. So that flips back to the 60, 70-year-old in politics now. So yeah, I think it's looked upon differently. Yeah. Gender.
well, so this is what I think.
Gender.
Okay. I think there was a lot of prejudice with the age, and I think there was a lot of prejudice with the gender,
Mhm.
because you have so many people in the generation of the 76-year-old, okay, that look at 60-year-olds as kids that don't know what they're doing, okay. And also men and women of that age, okay, think that women just can't do the job. I was
Mhm.
working the pole. I
Gender.
worked the poles, and I had a gentleman come in. He was 101 years old, and he was glad to say, "I'm 101, and I'm voting." He said, "A woman can't do that job." I said, "Excuse me, you don't think I could do it?" He said, "Maybe you could, but the woman can't do that job."
That one I'm
Well,
getting ready
I'm
to vote
not a
for.
woman, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah. Gender, straight up.
But I really believe it had a lot to do with gender.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the devil's
And
advocate
he said he never thought about her age.
How you never
because
thought about her age? Then you
we
said something
were
else too.
we were taught that women are the helpmeet. We are throughout the traditionals and my generation and yours, Lee, a little bit, that the picture that was painted when we were growing up, women were housewives, homemakers, take care of the kids, so forth and so on. Women were not embraced um in my generation and up to run a country.
They still not.
And so when you look at women in positions, I agree
Mhm.
with what Lee said. A lot of times, the older generation, they don't think that we can handle it. They're not ready to pass the baton. They're not ready to retire. They don't think that we can do it. But at the same time, we still a little bit old fashioned.
Well, listen, let's
Mhm.
go back just a little bit into the baby boomers, okay? Because you had Shirley Chisholm, who did run, okay, who was a
Yeah.
candidate for president, and they
Mhm.
gave her hell. And they gave her hell because she was, one, black, but two, because she was a woman.
Mhm. Mhm. It's all about the
Okay, Miss.
gender, mainly gender and
Yeah,
a
so
whole
I
bunch of
really
other
believe
things.
it's
But
about
gender is a good
gender.
part. Yeah.
My neighbor
And
is
no,
a
they're not ready to pass it on.
my neighbor
The
is
men.
60, and she's gorgeous. Ah, she must be me.
Am I your
I
neighbor?
had to
Come
tell
over, Stacey.
her. I had to tell her she's the older woman for me. She smiles and calls me youngster. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Well,
youngster.
you're a youngster.
We have another cousin that, and I'm gonna say it, Gwen. Younger men all the time go after her, and she is like these young kids all
They
the
do the
time.
same thing to me too.
She's
I
like,
get a lot of that.
what is with them? But she's like, they so young, you know.
Well, they're young and impressionable, but at the
Yeah,
same time, they look at older women as beautiful together.
together.
We
Hmm.
not drama because think about it. We kind of at the
Very
age
careful.
where
It is
we
what it
don't
is.
have
Go
a lot
ahead.
to do. You know, we are more settled. We're more sure of ourselves. We don't carry as much. I know the 20-year-old me, the 30-year-old me, you know, I had kids. But when you look at now the 60-year-old me, I love it. I love my life. I think I'm awesome. You know, I'm like, yes, you know, I can't be no greater. You know, I can only get better because I don't have to wake up and take care of anybody, kid, little people. Nah, I ain't even gotta walk my dog. My dog just walks herself, you know? So it is a difference. I believe that when your kids get out the house, I swear you gain 10, 15 years of beautiful. Because you ain't gotta worry about them jokers. You know this?
I
They be
still
saying
worry,
that
but not as much.
50, the
Yeah,
50 and 60-year-olds is slamming. Like
that
we
is the
have not
time.
noticed. We showing these folks off, but it's not because they're not beautiful. It's that they carry the weights of the world. They so stressful. This is where the difference in generations come from. Now we just like carefree. We're like,
Well, we're kind of switching it now. We said that they were carefree. Now you're saying you're carefree. I mean, maybe we're all carefree in some instances.
no,
I mean,
y'all said that. Y'all said
I said,
no. It's a difference in being carefree and not
mhm.
caring. They don't care. We are
I
carefree.
think they're
It
both.
is.
That's what I see. I think they're
I
both.
think that when you get our age, you should be carefree. I think that you shouldn't have a whole your busy life shouldn't be that busy. Like you should start trimming
Yeah,
it down a
it
little
shouldn't
bit
be, but it
Listen,
is.
listen.
We
because
We
know
can
it
go
shouldn't
on
be,
with
but it
this.
is.
We can go on
it
with
it
this and go on and go on. But we ain't gonna keep on going on all night
Reese
because
said he gonna get an AARP
Reese
card,
said he gonna get him an AARP card.
and he said
But
we
Reese ain't
old.
giving them out at 40, so you ain't gotta be old. Jamie,
They sure.
do
I
you
could have
all
had
think?
one.
do
Do
you
you all
think
think?
y'all think for our black men it had more to do with a black woman being in authority over a man? Imagine all of the stereotypes, expecting VP to cry, lose her temper, and all of the negative. I think so. I
Most
do.
definitely.
Yeah,
Most definitely,
definitely.
Jamie.
Absolutely,
Definitely. You know, and
absolutely.
again, you know, we're vulnerable because we're women, but at the same time, I think that age versus gender, it plays a large part. You know, when you get to the age that we are, yeah, I am vulnerable to my feelings, but at the same time, I know who I am and we walk in our confidence. And I think that that is kind of scary to men. You know, some men embrace it, some men are scared by it. So I think that it just depends. So we're going to wrap it up. Do you have any last words, ladies? Daphne, do you have any last words?
No, great topic. Great topic. We got some live ones today. I appreciate all of our
Come on
guests,
here.
like bringing it on. I
New
love it.
rules.
Yeah,
You can't come to my place over unless you. Oh, come on.
this one right here is live in the living color. But we appreciate all our guests, and that's really the last words I say. And also one more thing, need each other. I think that if we realize that, and I think most people probably, if they sit back and think about it, we need each generation as it keeps going on, but we need to keep a little piece of that generation to the next generation needs to keep a little piece of that one, and then that one, and we have to keep it going. And I'm afraid again that we're going to lose some of that tradition and some of that piece of the generations as we keep going down the line.
Lee?
I think that if I concur with what Daph's saying. If I could say it another way, I think that if we just keep looking, they often say don't look back, but I think we have to look back so that we can see where we come from, so that we can bring something bring it with us. And I think that it's a very big part is our history. We are our history. We're our children's history. History is only, time spent and what we've done, so that we call it our history. And we have to bring a little bit of that with us into each generation. Help one. What is it? No one, help one, grow one. What's that saying?
Oh,
Each one teach one.
Each one teach one. That's what each one teach one, grow one, know one, whatever it is.
Y'all know what I mean.
Like Janie is saying, bring me up. Yeah, we'll bring you up next time. But
yes, we would have brought you up this time.
Up with the times. Keep me up with the times. What's going on, and we could also plant some of those, traditional seeds and let them know how it was done.
I totally agree. I think that in order to embrace your future, you have to know some of the things, your histories of the past. And so I think it all works together. But you've been watching Cousins for Life, and we've been talking about generations. This has been a great topic. We want to thank all of our viewers. We encourage you to share and like our page. We come on every other Wednesday, and we actually post it so you guys know when we're coming on. So we are 8:00 Eastern Standard Time and 7:00 Central Time, and I don't know about the other times, but definitely tell a friend. And if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, feel free to put it in the chat. We do have our own page, Cousins for Life. So look us up. We really, really encourage you to, even after the show, put different topics on there and different comments so that we'll go ahead and we'll answer any questions that you have. But definitely don't forget to share our page. So until the next time, I don't think we're going to see you before the holiday. So we want everybody to have wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. Do some wonderful things. Go do some shopping on Black Friday and catch us that following week. But until then, we are your cousins.
Okay, let's see.
For
it's not backwards.
Yes. Nice. We love y'all. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Love you, bye.
Bye.
Love you, girls.
Ta-ta for now. Ciao.